Welcome to Reads and Threads. My name's Kate. Hello if you're new here. Welcome back if you're joining us again. Today we're going to be going through a bit of an update. We're about 2 months complete for HRCYED for round 2. And I started on QWERTY's birthday on the 7th of July like we were meant to. You could start early if you wanted to, but then you had to finish early. I just thought I had some stuff to wrap up, so I would start as we were supposed to on the 7th of July. I'm nearly at the date of filming, it's the 30th of August, at the 2-month mark. And I just thought now would be a good time for our first check-in. I'm going to screen record my computer. I have it on my lap in front of me. We'll give it a go. I am recording on my phone and then I'll pop that over the top. I have practiced, I've tried. Was looking at trying to record straight on my computer. I didn't really like the way it worked and I'm not overly impressed with the quality of the mic. I think I need to look into getting a mic extension or something like that. Now, I wanted to do these updates. There is a couple of things when we run through that I want to film straight after this as well. That we'll do with HRCYED, sorry, but we will go through all of that. So let's get into it. Before we look at where I'm up to, I thought we'd just run through what HRCYED actually is. So it's the hardest reading challenge you will ever do, and it was put together by QWERTY, who I'll link her channel down below. It's probably not too late to start. There aren't really any overarching rules. You could probably start whenever you wanted. I have started, like I said, when it was originally set to start, which was the 7th of July. So you have a year to complete it. So I have until the 6th of July 2026 to get all of the bingo squares marked off and finished. And I was always kind of worried to figure out how many books that would mean that I actually had to read if I was able to complete it. Just didn't want to overwhelm myself, but I also kind of like the idea, and I've seen on a couple of other people's channels that they kind of have a tally mark-off spreadsheet or graphic that they put together. Specifically, Sarah from Freshly Read Reads. I loved her Canva designs and she very nicely shared them with everyone so you could download them. So I did download them and then adapt them slightly to colors that I like and font and that kind of stuff. So I'll pop mine up just here. So this is what the board looks like to begin with. So it's a 25 square board and the idea is to wipe the entire board out. And within each square, you can see from this graphic, so like by the hundreds, there are 7 books I have to read for by the hundreds. Some have question marks next to them, so like the 24-hour readathon or the TBR challenge. I don't know exactly how many books I'm going to be reading for those yet. One, I haven't played my TBR game yet that I'm going to film in a minute. Then I'll have a bit more of an idea of that. Also, I'm not fully convinced which readathon to do, but we'll go through that in a little bit when we get to that square. And so there's some that I don't know, but without those 3 squares, it turns out that when I added all up my amount, if I was not doubling up on books, which you are allowed to do, I need to read 165 books before July 6th next year, which seems undoable. Luckily we can double up, so we'll see how we go. I have never read anywhere near the amount of books that I'm currently reading. Since I started my YouTube channel this year, I've already read over 50 books. There are years previously where I only had read 12 books, if that. I did struggle for a fair few years where I wasn't interested in reading anything at all. So this year already has blown my tallies out of the water. So already I feel like I've achieved something that I haven't achieved before, which I'm absolutely loving. And I'm just hoping that this will encourage me to achieve even more. And if I could complete it, that would be awesome. But I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't. Even if I get halfway through, I think that's incredible. By the end of this video, there will be an updated graphic where we can see exactly what I have completed, though you can probably add it up as we go through if you wanted to. I will show you at the end where I'm sitting at the moment. So let's screen record my computer And I will show you the HRCYED spreadsheet that QWERTY was kind enough to share with everyone. And we'll run through where I'm up to and what I've allocated. And if you think that there's an area you would like a vlog for, please feel free to leave that down below. I was kind of considering vlogging for some of the challenges. So if there's something that you're really interested in watching me read, let me know. Okay, I'm gonna pop myself up into a little corner so that I hopefully am out of the way. And if I'm looking down, it's just because my computer, like I showed you a second ago, is sitting on my lap. So I don't really have the best setup yet. And don't mind my computer. I hate it, just between us. The Microsoft Store just pops up randomly whenever it wants, no matter what I'm clicking on, and I don't know why, and I don't know how to stop it. I used to also have the, the date and time thing on the right appear at random all the time as well. I did manage to fix that one, but I cannot figure out how to stop the Microsoft Store. No matter what setting I click on, it does make it effect. If you know how to do that, please leave that down below, because that would be awesome to know how to stop it doing that. Anyway, this is the bingo board at the beginning. Now, all of these do link off to the pages that they work with. And we were also given this very cool tracker. So you can see I have started entering my information as I have read. And you can see, if you want to screenshot, exactly what I have read and for what prompt I've allocated them out for. So you'll see like something like Dawn of Mist. I have only at the moment allocated it to one subgenre prompt. And that's fine. There are some that I won't be able to double up. There are also some that I haven't submitted. So you do on the HRCYED website, which I can show you as well. So if we just go over to her website, you come down here to say we're doing the white prompts, and I can go in and then say I wanted to submit for the 200s. I click on the 200s, and then there's a Google submission form. So I have submitted for some of my books already. Others I haven't. So I did hear on someone else's channel, I think it was Amanda from Reading and Writing Life, that QWERTY had mentioned that she didn't want us to submit the purple prompts until they were all done. So you'll see like on the bingo board, there are some squares that are highlighted in that slightly purple color. And I think that just is because they're ones that we can adapt, so that the amount of books that we're going to be reading for a lot of them will change, and the type of book we're going to be reading. But we'll go through that in a sec. So for those, I've just been marking down when I finished them, and I will submit them when I finish that whole section. So if there is one like that I have put on, I have written down where I want it to go in here, and you'll see as we go through the spreadsheet, I have kind of put a graphic there so that I remember that I have already read them. This has been a really handy little spreadsheet just from that point of view, with the prompt options being able to come out. But I also quite like that I can see like how long it took me to read it. And then there is the check boxes I've created on the side here that I can just tick when I have submitted it as well, just as a second ability. I do have like a book folder, like journal kind of thing that I've created for myself, just with the dates and links of what everyone is. And again, just to double check that I'm not double submitting something, that I haven't forgotten to submit something, but that's it. So we'll run through. There is also a points calculator. I'm not earning a huge amount of points. I will still put in each book that I read, whether I manage to allocate it to a prompt or not. But overall, within all the books I've read in the last 2 months, I've only made 38 points. So I don't even have enough to do even a reread, which is 50, which is fine because I don't really want to do a reread if I can help it. Anyway, there is some HRCYED stats. So as you put your items in, you can get this cool little stat graph and see which prompts you've allocated to, all of that as well. But we'll go through. So the first prompt is by the hundreds. As you can see, if there's a cover up the top here, it means that I have already allocated and popped in a submission form for the ones that are up there. Anyway, they're locked in. This is a white prompt. So that one, these two are definitely locked in. I have 2 done in that one. The 24-hour readathon, haven't decided when I'm going to do it yet. It will be sometime in the not too distant future, I would think. Probably while I'm off on leave in September. And I might vlog that, I don't know. I'm not a hugely quick reader. I don't know that I get through many books. I might be able to get through like a decent page number, but only one or a bit books maybe. I don't even know. But at some point I will do that one. For subgenres of choice, I am doing fantasy. I might just try and I'll zoom this back in. So I'm just doing fantasy, and for this one I have only allocated 1. I did finish off Wrath, but I do have some other options down the bottom here of potentials, and there's a fair few potentials for a lot of them. So I think I'll be all right. It's just getting around to actually reading them. For the series staircase, I have a few potentials, but I haven't actually completed any of my series. So I haven't popped in any of these. I technically have probably read a fair few, like a couple that could have worked for the solo, but I'm kind of just stuck on this top one, and I don't know that I want to put anything in. So Sisters of Song and Sound, or Sword and Song even. So we'll see how we go. I read enough series that I think that this one should be fairly easy, so I'm not overly worried about it. For award season now, I do have my first award season one. I just finished The God of the Woods, which was a winner for the 2024 Mystery Thriller on the Good Choice Awards. So I still need to find a finalist, a semi-finalist, and an entrant. And then I can read any others within any of those categories for that one, which is great. The TBR Game Challenge. Now, this one I'm going to be filming next. So we will find out what it is. And what I am going to be playing is called The Lord of the Reeds, I think. So we'll type that in there. And I'll link the channel down below. And that's kindly brought to us by Library Unbounded. I did see Gavin from Gavin Reads It All play Lord of the Reeds and thought it looked so much fun. The fact that it was an online version of a TBR game was really easy. So it has an inbuilt dice and inbuilt prompt cards. So I will link down below the video that I end up doing for my prompts for that. I'm pretty much just going to play the game and then have the whole year for the rest of the challenge to complete the prompts. I'm not going to be doing it within a certain month because I have my own TBR game, which I want to keep playing. And so hopefully I'll just be able to double up on some of the books for that one that I end up using for other stuff. Okay. The last 10 years, I have done a few of these. So I've included Wrath there and The Night and the Moth. But I also do have down here a fair few options for most of the years, which is really handy. I'm also putting together a new tracking spreadsheet for my reads. And that, again, I've got from Library Unbounded. She has made an awesome tracking sheet journal that is script run, and it all just enters, and it's so fun. If you want to see that, or if you haven't seen it already, I'll link her video down below, which has all the download links for it. And the fact that you can just download it for free and use it is just awesome. It's so much work would have gone into it. I would love to know how to do JavaScripting. That would be awesome. There are a couple of things that I would love it to do that it doesn't do, but so far I'm having a lot of fun using it and entering all my data in. That's been lots of fun. That will make it easier because within that spreadsheet there is a release date column. So once I've entered in all of my physical books that are behind me into this spreadsheet and all the ones I've got on my Kobo, my iPad and Audible, I'll be able to see the release dates for all of them. So it'll be a lot easier. Okay. Then we have adaptations. So technically this one is only 8 books, but you will have noticed on my graph I had 0 of 16 if you're paying attention, mainly because I plan on reading and watching both, or consuming both forms of the items. At the moment I have watched the live action of How to Train Your Dragon. I've watched the animation of The Wild Robot, and I've watched all of the Lizzie Bennet Diaries web series. So I just have now to consume their adaptations. The only one that I'm not entirely sure about is TV show at the moment, because technically I've already read previous to HRCYED starting All Systems Red. So even though I really do want to watch Murderbot Diaries, I think I'm going to pick a new TV show. So if you have any recommendations, please leave them down below. I have just booked to go to see Cats, which is coming to Adelaide in September. So my mum and I are going to go see that. And then I'm going to try and get my hands on Paul Possum's book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot to read that, because I didn't realize it was actually adapted from a book. So that'll be lots of fun. And then a couple of these actually double up for other prompts later on. All right, we then have the disability challenge. I have not started that one yet, so hopefully I'll get to that soon. The same with Heritage Month or Translation Challenge. Though at least with Translation Challenge, I do have a couple of potentials. So that will be handy. That should be fine. But around the world, I have looked at where the authors come from rather than necessarily where the book's set for some of them, just because I read a lot of fantasy, which means they're in a non-world setting. But Havenfall was set in North America, and the author was from North America herself as well, I think. And then I used an Australian author for the Australian one. For the Even Bigger Rainbow Challenge, I haven't specifically read any that I've allocated, but I have allocated out a lot of potential. So I'm really interested in actually reading the ones that I've already picked. I'm not overly sure if the light blue pick will work completely. So let me know down below what you think, whether I should count that for light blue or not. I mean, there's two lots of blue there. And I still need to find a white book and a book with 7 colors on the title. So that shouldn't be too hard, I don't think, but I am interested to get to all of these. So we have Make a Quote. So my quote is Mother Night and May the Darkness be merciful. So for this one, you have to read a book with each of these words in the title. I have one done for this so far, though I do have a few more possibilities. I am still stuck on a book for Mother, depending on what I end up getting read over the year. There's one book on my TBR that's a possibility for this. However, it's the 3rd book in a series. So we'll see how we go with that one. And I think The is going to be fairly easy. I read a lot of books with The in it, so I could put whatever I needed to in there. Then move on to Spooky Creatures. I have read at least one for this, and the book that I'm currently reading will also go in for Magic User. So I'm in the middle of Silver Cloak, so hopefully by the end of August that will be done. And then at the moment I'm thinking Serpent and the Wings of the Nights for vampires, but I think these will be fairly easy. We then have Become an Avatar. So these I have picked these books. I haven't read any of them yet. Water has come up in my September TBR in my game, so I'll be able to try it and hope that I like it enough that I'll be able to continue on. But I just thought all of these worked really well, both for title and cover. So they work for both. So it's really good. Now, my readathon challenge. This is where I'm undecided. So originally I was going to do Adventures of Aldia, which I did find out about at the beginning of the year and thought it would be really fun to do, but was too overwhelmed when I was starting YouTube. So I thought I could just use those 12 prompts and play within the next little bit. To the point where I started it. So I have read technically the first prompt, but then also Readathon Rebellion is on in September, and that looks like a lot of fun as well. So I think I am definitely going to be doing that. So I might just change it and do Readathon Rebellion as my Readathon challenge, from which point I don't know how many prompts I'll end up having. So it's either 12 or undetermined, but one of those will definitely be in this challenge. For animals, I have only read my farm animal one. I got a horse. So I still need a house pet, exotic pet, wild animal, and zoo animal. Queer alphabet, I have done the lesbian prompt for Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, but I still need one for all the others. I think one of my new releases coming up is polyamory, maybe. I'd have to double check that, but that's what I'm planning for those. My favorite Herk prompt, I've gone with protagonist, you know, the name of the protagonist. So I need 3 books for that. So I've already done one. So there was a Maddie in Havenfall, which is the name of my niece. So that worked out really well. So I just need to find 2 more. And I don't think that one's going to be very hard to fix. BIPOC authors, I have a fair few that I've listed down below that I have my eye on, but again, I think I read fairly widely with this without even realizing it, so I think that will be fairly easy. My new releases, I definitely have to make sure I am keeping up to date with. So I have currently done May and June, which has been awesome. I did manage to get The Night and the Moth finished before the 60-day cutoff in July, so that was great. I am currently reading Silvercloak for July, so I have to have that one done by the 27th of September, but I'm so close to the end, it will be done before the end of August. I'm then planning on doing Warrior Princess Assassin for my August one, which I'd have to have read by the 11th of October. And then I've got my eye on Thorn Season for September, which I'd have to have done by the 1st of November. So I haven't allocated anything after that. There's my Microsoft top-up. I haven't done anything after that, but I think with my subscription boxes and that kind of stuff, it should be fairly easy. Okay, we then have challenge yourself. So for my challenge to myself, it was to read all of Jane Austen's books. And I have just purchased hardback editions of those, so I physically own them now, so I'm eager to get into these. And a couple of these actually were in my adaptations as well, so they will work really well. So whether we maybe do a vlog about reading Jane Austen, let me know if that's something you're interested in. The hardest challenge for me though is going to be this nonfiction challenge. I did pull a nonfiction book in September and have the possibility of reading 2 in September because I could read Dinner for Vampires as well as Bookish. So I'm a librarian, so I've gone through Dewey and written down all of the possible subject headings for the books that I am looking at. So I'm just trying to stick to ones that I have any kind of interest in. Nonfiction is definitely not something I am interested in at all. So hopefully some of these are readable. And then last but not least, we have Q's Reviews and Recs. Now this is the one situation where I put all the books at the top, but I haven't read any of them. But going through Q's mini reviews and blogs and all that kind of stuff, these were the ones that stood out to me. There are a couple of other potential ones that obviously she's read about or done a review on. And there's probably a lot that I haven't even found yet that if I have read a book and I find something, oh, I wonder if Q's done a review on this, I could use it for that prompt as well. So that's where we're sitting at the moment. Hopefully that has all recorded and you found this video interesting. I'll pop up the graphic. So this is where we're sitting at the moment. So you can see I've done 2 out of 7 of the by the hundreds, 1 out of 6 of the subgenres of choice, 1 out of 7 of the award season, 2 of 11 at the moment of filming for the last 10 years, 3 out of 16 of all the adaptations, 2 out of 7 for Around the World, 1 out of 8 of my quote, 1 out of 8 for my spooky creatures. Depending on which reading challenge I do, I have 1 book possibly for that already. 1 out of 5 for Animals Are Better, 1 out of 9 for the queer alphabet, 1 out of 3 for protagonist names you know, 2 out of 12 for the extended new release. Again, that one will change fairly quickly. And that's all the squares that I've actually made progress on. I do think that that's an okay place to be. I don't have any greened off yet. So when you finish one and you click the I did it little box that you saw on the spreadsheet, it'll change the end square on the spreadsheet to green. So you can see that you've actually finished it. So I'm not that fussed that I don't have any of those marked off yet. I think I am making progress on enough of the squares that I'm okay with it at the moment. We'll see whether that continues later on. But for now, I'm pretty happy with my progress. If you have any suggestions for any of the squares, please pop them down below. I would love to know what you think, what you thought. All your recommendations so far have been really interesting. There's a couple that I have already taken on board. So like the Fate Be Changed for my quote, I really needed a word with B in it, and a lovely viewer recommended that one and it was great and I knocked it out really quickly. So any other suggestions, please feel free to leave them down below. If you like this video, I do plan on doing another update, maybe in a couple of months, and we can do like a bi-monthly update for HRCYED and see how we're tracking. Please subscribe down below. Come along on this journey with me. I'd love to have you on board. If you'd like to also follow me, I do have a link down below, my Instagram, my Storygraph, and my Goodreads. So feel free to join me on any of those. Are you doing HRCYED? Where are you up to? How many of you read? How many squares? Have you finished any of them? I'd love to know. Leave all your comments down below, and I hope that wherever you are having a really wonderful day, and we will see you next time. Bye.